Live. I'm your host, one of your hosts, Chris from the CHRILLCAST.
And I'm Andrew from the CHRILLCAST.
And today we want to remind everybody what steam is. So let's get started here. Steam is water in the gas phase. This may occur due to evaporation or due to boiling, where heat is applied until water reaches the enthalpy of vaporization. Steam is saturated or superheated. What's his main competition? What's the main competition for steam? Water vapor. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, the real Steam, the one that Gabe Newell owns. Let's get there. Steam is a video game digital distribution service and storefront by Valve. It was launched as a standalone software client in September 2003 as a way for Valve to provide automatic updates for their games. At least that's what they said they were doing. And expanded to distributing and offering third-party game publisher titles, which turned out to be very lucrative for them. Extremely
lucrative. Let's be honest. They're the standard.
And in 2003, like Steam was the only one that was building a launcher for their games with constant updates. Like really.
And if we're being honest, when's the last time you've really seen PC games at the store?
Not in a long.
Exactly.
Well, let me rephrase that. Microsoft games were still selling in the store. So like Age of Empires in 2006, 2007, 2008.
Fair enough. But remember when we were growing up, right?
All the PC games.
Remember how big the PC games section was?
Mm-hmm.
It was like the DVD section.
Well, GameStop even had PC games back then. Like
yeah, but I'm just thinking, like,
copies.
Just think of Walmart. Like Walmart used to have like 2 rows dedicated to PC games. And
you're definitely right about that.
It's basically Steam basically eliminated the PC game section from the
basically own like PC gaming. Like if you don't have a Steam account, like I'm not sure what you're doing with your
You're not
PC.
A PC gamer if you don't have a Steam account.
I mean, I do know one person that exclusively shops on good old games, but we'll get to that later. I do actually know one person that does that.
Because it depends what you're looking for.
If you want DRM free stuff, then yeah, GOG is your alternative. But let's get into it. So, when was your first download from Steam? When did you create your Steam account?
Oh, that's actually hard. I'm trying to think now. I think I was later to that party. You know, I grew up in the middle of nowhere.
That's true. You didn't have like access, like readily.
Yeah, I didn't.
Ready access to the internet, at least not early on.
Yeah. I would honestly say probably in high school. So, you know, around 2010 to 2013-ish area. Definitely by college, I was downloading stuff. It was until I had data-free limits. So,
I remember the first time I got onto Steam was probably in college, actually. It was in like the teens, like probably 2013 or 2014, because I really wanted the new versions of the Age of Empires games, like the HD versions. That was the best way to get it, especially since the Windows Store was, you know.
See, okay, I now remember. I didn't start it until I got my new computer, my new laptop. So that would have been like senior year of high school. That would have been the first time I downloaded a Steam game. So.
Yeah, and I've heard from other people that they actually downloaded the Steam client back in 2003 with Half-Life 2, I'm pretty sure. Because that was one of the main reasons people were getting it, was specifically for Half-Life 2. And a lot of people were annoyed because when they tried to download the updates from Steam to play it, they found out real quickly that the service was down from too many people trying to access Half-Life 2 at the same time.
Yeah, that would have happened back then. That was not the era to rely on the internet.
But a lot of the games were download only that Valve was. Like basically Valve was using their client to provide you get a code in the mail or whatever. People would order the game.
Right.
You'd plug it into Steam and you'd get access to Valve's first party game that you were trying to buy, which was either Portal, Half-Life, whatever it was at the time. Right?
Yeah.
Now Steam has had a foray into a lot of different things. Like it does discuss here that they decided to fork into macOS in 2010 and Linux in 2012. Gotta love that penguin.
And every time I see that penguin, I just think of the Toy Story movie with the one who's lost his squeaker.
I was thinking of Club Penguin.
Oh, I know. I just think of Toy Story.
There's some pretty great inside jokes between some of my college friends and I about Club Penguin, so that's where I always go with my brain.
See, I never did Club Penguin.
Oh, I never played it either, but there was some good inside jokes from it. All right. So here's the thing. By 2017, the users purchasing games through Steam totaled roughly US $4.3 billion. That's 2017. We're talking 5 years ago. I don't even think PC gaming was as big as it is. I think it keeps getting bigger every year, honestly.
Look at 2013, though. It had 75% of the market share.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
That's a lot in 2013.
And there's been a lot of competition trying to build launchers to beat Steam, but ultimately they end up failing and they go back to Steam. Like EA tried to do it. I think Activision tried to do it. I think Bethesda tried to do it.
Everyone keeps trying. You had the most I can think of is EA Origins.
Right. EA had the biggest chance because they had the most games that people wanted access to that didn't necessarily care to go through Steam if they didn't have to. Like, I think the most fickle gamers, and don't take this the wrong way if you are one, I think the most fickle gamers are the ones that play sports games.
Yeah.
Like, I really think those people are the most willing to betray whatever platform they're on just to play a different sports game on a different platform in the future.
I don't know. I don't think they care. Yeah, you're right. They don't care about the platform.
They care about the game. They just want to play it on whatever platform they like.
No. It depends on.
There's no loyalty there. If you're only a sports gamer, like you could jump from the Xbox to the PlayStation to the
their
PC.
Loyalty is different. You have to remember their loyalty is to the game, not
to the console or the platform. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like those people. EA probably had the best shot just because of sports games, honestly.
Well, okay, I'll be honest. FIFA.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I like playing FIFA.
So you don't care where it's at as long as you can play it.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I have a preference, but you have to remember the sports game plays the same on every. As long as you have a controller, it plays the same.
Exactly.
You just care that it plays.
And EA probably had the best shot with their launcher, pre what we're going to be talking about here in the near future.
But the thing I would say is, I don't know what is the market share of PC gaming for sports games.
I have no idea.
I want to say that's low. I have to say it's low.
But it does say that by 2019, the service has over 34,000 games with over 95 million monthly active users.
Something just tells me that. Something tells me that EA didn't have a shot because it was too much sports games.
Probably.
Yeah, because you gotta think of like what is Steam's best games, like really.
I do remember though back in. Okay, so let's go backwards here real quick.
Right.
Steam, or rather Valve and Gabe Newell, viewed Microsoft launching, I believe, Windows 8 and Windows 10 with the Windows Store and favoring that by including it built into every PC they sold with the software on it as like competition that was going to potentially eat into the Steam market share. That's their bread and butter, right? That's the bread and butter of Steam. So Steam went into Linux hard with the Steam machine just to show Microsoft that they could get games on Linux,
right,
and compete with Microsoft directly if they had to, right? That was the whole point of the Steam
machine. The Steam machine looked very optimistic. I mean, I thought it looked interesting. I thought it was a pretty cool concept. I'm still a fan. I'm still a fan of a couple of them, like the Falcon Northwest brand. I know they're extremely overpriced, but if you were looking for a very compact gaming PC, Falcon Northwest, the Tiki, and they had another one that was I think even smaller, and it's compact. It's the same size as a PS5 or a Xbox, and they're nice looking, but the price is not good. You can build a PC far better. You might as well build one. It's not going to be the same compact size. It's not going to be as sexy of a console system, but the Falcon Northwest Tiki was the one that they were advertising for the Steam machine. So it's that small gaming PC one, if second row about the middle, about there. Yeah, that's the Tiki. And that was one.
Yeah, I
of
mean,
that
they
was
did look nice.
Yeah, that was the highest budget Steam machine, basically. That was what they were advertising.
$3,200.
That one's souped up. You can get them for $1,500. Yeah, I mean, shit, you could build a significantly better gaming PC than what you're getting in there for cheaper. But that was
that was a safeguard against Bill Gates, Phil Spencer, all the Xbox and Windows team, because
and that's what it played that way too. Like when you looked at it, that's what you got the impression of.
Because it could be a Steam Linux PC in your living room too, because they could literally. There was a lot of gaming outlets saying like, "Oh, it's going to be toe to toe with Xbox and PlayStation," and then you saw the prices and you're like, "No, it's not."
Yeah, no, the price points were completely wrong.
There was no way that was the goal.
The goal was a threat, nothing more, because they know their market is primarily people who are more than happy to build their own, right?
Exactly.
And they know
more like,
that,
hey, Windows, if you guys screw us with this Windows store, then we're going to come at you with everything we've got.
Right. I mean, but when you look at it,
Steam Deck.
Oh God. Yeah.
No,
I know you're obsessed with
it. I think the Steam Deck is more of a shot at Nintendo for stealing a lot of indie titles. A lot of indie companies are jumping over to the Switch as their main platform instead of Steam.
I mean, I think it's just a ploy into say you can do mobile gaming. That's honestly it.
No, that's totally it, because a lot of indie companies
do mobile games right now.
A lot of indie titles are better on mobile, and indie titles are kind of becoming more of Steam's bread and butter.
Are you sure that it's okay? Are you sure that you think it's a shot at Nintendo more than
I think it's more of a threat to indie companies. Like, hey, if you make the Switch your main platform, your loyalty to Steam is like, you're treading a thin line here. Because I think honestly, indie titles will do very well on the Steam Deck and Steam in general, because you have more portability and, well, maybe not more portability, but you have portability added to Steam.
You're also going to be able to take the mobile apps, App Store games. Like it's also a shot technically at the Apple games.
That's a good point.
Mobile games, like you can get those now. It's a touch screen, right?
Yeah.
So you can play anything that's on your phone on it too.
Candy Crush, here I come. No.
Right, that's what you'll be playing the whole time. I'm still waiting for Candy Crush VR, because that'd be so funny.
Oh man. So yeah,
they're gonna totally do it with one of those.
Steam machine came in 2015, which included Steam OS on Linux and the Steam controller, and then they have the Steam Link device, which is pretty neat too.
Have you tried the Steam controller? Just curious.
I've never tried it, but I have friends that have it, and they've all said it was actually pretty nice.
Okay, I was always conflicted. I kind of wanted it, but I
almost picked one up when they dropped it to $25, but apparently I missed the window to get that like by a day or two. Back when they threw up the red tags and said clearance across the board to see who would buy it. I completely missed it, because they had the Steam Link too. Like, you get the Steam Link and the controller for like $100 or less, I think, at that time, because they were I think it was like a $200 combo at one point in time. I don't know. I do know this. I missed the fire sale.
I missed it too, because I had gotten my gaming PCs like after that happened, and I was like, shit, now I can't get it.
I mean, you can, but they're like way overpriced on eBay.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I don't buy that secondhand. I don't want a secondhand controller.
I buy secondhand stuff. Sometimes it's cheaper. Sometimes it's in good shape.
Not for that. I don't want a secondhand controller. I know.
No, what you do is you buy it secondhand if it's in good shape, and then you replace everything. So I replaced like the buttons, the analogs. That's what I did for my super nice Xbox 360 controller. I bought it secondhand and replaced the nubs and the buttons. Everything looks great. Cleaned it all out. Perfect. It's an awesome controller. And the only thing that you can't really do much with is the USB. You have to really know what you're doing to replace a USB on an Xbox controller.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Moving on. They also had Steam VR, so clearly they wanted to hit essentially everything they could.
They kind of just, when you look at Steam's history, right, they kind of just hit a little bit of everything, just a proof of concept it, and let people know that if there's actual interest, they'll pursue something.
So here we go. Here's an interesting thing. Steam's development began in 2002 with working names for the platform being Grid and Gazelle. It was publicly announced at Game Developers Conference event in March 22nd, 2002, released for beta testing the same day. To demonstrate the ease of integrating Steam with a game, Relic Entertainment created a special version of its game Impossible Creatures. Valve partnered with several companies, including AT&T, Acer, and GameSpy. Remember GameSpy?
Mm-hmm.
The first mod released on the system was Day of Defeat. 2002, Valve's president Gabe Newell said he was offering mod teams a game engine license and distribution over Steam for about $1,000 essentially. But here's something else that's interesting. Prior to the announcement of Steam, Valve found that Sierra had been distributing their games in PC cafes, which they claimed was against the terms of the contract. They took them to court in 2002. This is like a very volatile beginning to their
Steam
games.
has always had some ups and downs, though.
Yeah, they totally have. Here's another
definitely not a drama-free platform.
So here's something. Sierra countersued, asserting that the announcement of Steam, Valve had been working to undermine the contract to offer a digital storefront for their games, directly competing with Sierra, who was their business partner. So it says the case initially ruled in Valve's favor, allowing them to leave the contract due to the breach and seek other publishing partners for retail copies of its games while continuing to work on Steam. Apparently, they were approached by Microsoft, and they turned down the offer due to Valve's intent to continue to sell their games over Steam. Interesting. Microsoft, right at the beginning. Although Gabe has direct ties to Microsoft. He came from Microsoft. Yeah. So that makes sense. I do find it very interesting, though, as time has gone on, the relationship between Microsoft and Steam has hit many back and forths.
Let's be honest, though, when it comes to the gaming industry, there's a lot of incestuous relations between the different studios and consoles, and there's plenty of drama.
There's a lot of and you did not mean literally incestuous, I hope. My goodness.
No, but there's plenty of people who've bounced around between them and have
it's definitely an industry that
participated in starting multiple of them, and then there's plenty of disdain or love between
sell
the two.
A company off and then make another company.
Yeah, basically.
Like you were talking about on the episode with Will, where you guys are discussing the formation or the consolidation of gaming and how you think that might lead to actual new companies being formed. Because
100%. Because it happens all the time. Look at how many branch out and start a new one. And it's just you just need that money to be spread around a bit.
Yeah. All right. So anyways, moving on to the main topic here. So Steam has existed since 2003. We've managed to get that down. We know they've gone into their foray of hardware, including the Steam machines, their own controller, the Steam Link. The Steam Deck is their most recent, but they also have Steam VR. I think it's called the Index, right? Steam Index.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they've really had their own foray of array of hardware throughout the years. But they really haven't had significant competition up until more recently. With some of those games being like good old games with their DRM free licenses of games, they're not really a big competition. But when you're looking at people who play on PC, they like to build their own stuff. They probably don't like digital rights management very much. So a lot of people will flock to good old games for that exact reason.
If you scroll down in the Wikipedia, you'll see exactly where the true competition starts, and it's no. If you go back up, you went past it.
Okay.
It's right there where Electronic Arts.
That's the first one that was an actual competitor.
Yeah, and then Ubisoft with their Uplay requirements didn't really remove it, but they're putting their middle
finger up?
middleman. They had to be involved in the actual launching, and there's a couple others. Yeah, I mean, Total War has been kind of like that too in the past. They have their whole arena launcher.
You know how you can tell that EA failed completely is because you can buy an EA Play subscription through Steam now.
Yes.
That's pretty much okay. Throw in the towel.
Right. which I was not expecting them to be potentially shopping around for a partner or a buyer. That's kind of caught me off guard seeing that news. I think they evaluate themselves.
What has EA actually put out recently that has like sold well, other than sports titles?
I mean, Battlefield sells reliably.
It does, but it's also waning.
Well, they do have a new Dragon Age coming out in the
eventually.
Future. Yeah.
As long as it doesn't fall flat on its face like some of the
Honestly,
other games.
I'd have to. Didn't they have Anthem, or was that a different company?
That was Anthem. Yeah, BioWare. That was like supposed to be BioWare's Hail Mary pass to like get out of Mass Effect and start moving into new things, and they completely. It baffles me how
should have been next gen. It should have been next gen.
It really baffles me how badly they handled Anthem. Like, how would you mess up a game that looks like it could be the next clear rendition of a BioWare choose your own adventure game into like some weird MMO run and gun thing?
I'll tell you why. It's my one problem with EA. The business department.
Yeah, their marketing and business. Yeah,
yes,
pretty bad.
That group right there is the reason certain studios get pushed into things they shouldn't make. Like, look at how they treated Visceral and Pandemic.
But they've really handed
through.
They've really given like a straight up like blank check to Respawn to do whatever the hell they want to do.
All I know is when we were looking at studios for acquisition, EA has Visceral and Pandemic. Two studios.
They had Visceral and Pandemic.
Fine, they had that. They still own the IP.
They own all the IP.
They have them. All right, you could revive either of those studios.
Yeah.
But you have like Mercenaries. You know, that game was fun. And you had Army of Two, right? Either one of those games gets brought back for the current gen. I feel like it's a smash hit.
I think that the problem. Sorry, I think just to get back into the reason why we're talking about EA in the first place, though, their Origin service. I think the biggest issue with EA's Origin service is they started out as a buy each game individually type store like Steam instead of a service thing where you get the newest version of FIFA, the newest version of Madden every year for a monthly fee, and that would have made way more sense.
And that's when we get to it, that's why I think Microsoft is the biggest competitor because Microsoft's going the service route.
So all of these other companies try to directly compete with Steam by offering the same type of service for their own exclusive games.
And the only one who's truly competed with them temporarily was Epic.
Still technically are competing.
Not really. There's been a lot of backlash.
Epic's like a one-horse pony show, right? They're basically just Fortnite.
Well, yeah, they're not. Okay. They're not truly competing because there's been a lot of backlash against the studios that did exclusivities with Epic because all the fans, like a lot of them backstabbed fans who did Kickstarters and stuff.
Yes, that was a problem.
So because of that, right, the play that Epic did backfired. Not because Epic had a bad idea, but because Epic was too late to the party in every game they did it with. If Epic was a little bit earlier and cut off a lot of the angst where it was caused to go back on promises, right? Because they went back on promises, they basically upset the whole gaming fan base.
Well, all they would have had to do was jump into Kickstarters and early on
from the beginning. They needed to be pre-Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Because
if they could have started donating half the campaign to some of these indie studios, it would have made complete sense. I don't think anybody would have even been upset. Let's just say Shovel Knight. Let's say Shovel Knight was offered, I don't know, $500,000 from Epic Games Store to be
exclusive though,
and give them a whole bunch of production money. Nobody would have complained about that.
Right.
Kind of like how Sony kept offering the developers of Shenmue 3. Remember that?
Yeah.
They offered the developers of Shenmue 3 a bunch of money in the back. I think they did it. I don't know. I know that they helped promote the Kickstarter campaign. But that was one of the ones that went to Epic.
I think
Steam.
I think if Epic wanted to be successful with that strategy, I feel like they almost needed to ease people into it.
They had to ease in on the ground floor with some of these early games.
Yeah, like maybe
they didn't
you
have
do
to get before Kickstarter. They just had to be in with the Kickstarters that they wanted to support.
Right. And it's not even just making it exclusive off the bat, right? They just needed to get a reputation for backing Kickstarters. Get community goodwill. Get it where people trying to launch a Kickstarter come to them, almost like an incubator for games. And then they just make it where before it ever goes to Kickstarter, they get exclusivity rights to it. And then send it, maybe even, and still allow it to go to Kickstarter as an exclusive. And use it kind of as like a voting method to kind of get public opinion on what game ideas are good. Like they could have done something like that, would have been massively successful compared to the strategy they took. They tried a hostile takeover against Steam, and PC gamers are not going to put up with that.
Well, when all of your library is in one service, you don't really want to move to a new service.
And then Epic has other baggage.
Yeah, they do.
CCP spyware. Okay, like can't beat around the bush. All right, it has spyware.
Potentially, I mean, potentially it does. I don't know.
There were some pretty credible accusations. Okay, like
this guy said. Well, so just for the record, I did put out a PS Vita video, and I'm going to be putting out an update to that soon. But basically, this comment right here is because he said, F PlayStation, Sony, I'm going back to Xbox One. Rest in peace to PS3 Online. Basically, Sony just ripped us a new one and put in like two-step verification that doesn't actually work very well at all on the PS3 and PS Vita for signing into online and the store. So like trying to buy something now is a nightmare. And
you mean where you have to use your password?
No. They removed passwords entirely. You have to try to log in. It sends you a QR code. You go to the Sony website on your phone, get a temporary password, type that temporary password in letter for letter. This is for accessing online and stores for Vita and PS3 online.
Why is it just Vita and PS3?
Because they couldn't enable the encryption that they needed, or rather they could have enabled the encryption they needed if they would have worked on the software at any point in time prior to this, but they decided instead, let's just do it the easy way and give you a temporary password that works like two-step verification every time. So you try to log in, it sends you a QR code, and then it gives you a temporary access password that works for 7 days. And then you have to repeat that process.
Couldn't you just use your phone with PlayStation Store on your phone and just buy things there?
No. They disabled access for mobile phones to access the Vita and PS3 store. The only way to access the PS3 and the PS Vita store is through the Vita and through the PS3. Okay, so now, in order to access the store, you have to go through this nightmare scenario. It's like, imagine if you try to log into Steam and Steam says, here's a QR code, go to a website, but you can't do it on your actual computer. You have to do it on your phone, which is an extra device.
Okay, that's terrible. That's a terrible.
Yes. Sony is like trying to convince people to not use these platforms anymore.
Okay.
That's what that's about.
That's what,
It's now the more time I think about it, the more angry I get about it. So
yeah, I can see why.
I am happy to move on to the Steam Deck from my PS Vita because of how much better Steam has handled it.
And I'll be happy when you finally move on because I hate the Vita.
I love the Vita. I hate the way Sony treats it.
No, I hate the Vita's controls. So you shouldn't have to buy an attachment to have good controls. All right, so back to the topic at hand.
So you were talking about Epic's hostile takeover.
Yeah, they were trying to hostile takeover. And look at that. Steam has over 90 million monthly active users. All right.
So let me ask you this question. Yeah. Why was there competition to Blockbuster that was exactly the same as Blockbuster? Like say your Hollywood Video, Family Video. Why was that okay? I have an answer, but I want to see what you say.
What do you mean?
Why do people tolerate multiple versions of the same business existing in brick and mortars across the country?
I mean, there's multiple aspects to that, right? Like, not all of the shops are right next to each other. There's investment to take over real estate that's not covered. So you can always compete where the other does. Like, there's a limited amount of funds invested into the first shop. Another shop is going to be like, well, we can do the same idea. Let's get more capital to try to do the same idea. Now you have two stores competing. But they're not competing because they're in different towns.
On top of that, they all existed at the same time and didn't wait 20 years to start up the same exact business.
That too. They were competing for market share that was currently open and up for grabs. Whereas Steam now has had, like you said, 20 years of building a loyal fan base and not treating people dirty.
And it's available everywhere all the time.
Yes.
Makes it a big difference. Now, how did Blockbuster drip down the drain? What happened? What took them down? It wasn't direct competition. What was it?
Well, indirect. You had Netflix.
So Netflix.
Technically, Netflix took them out. Well, yeah, the way they changed the game through convenience. Twice. It's always about convenience.
Yep.
First was the DVDs being able to be mailed to you.
And no late fees.
No late fees, mailed to you. If you wanted to get a new movie, you had to return the movie you had rented.
And you always had a on deck list you could have on your thing. So the second they got your DVD back, they were ready to send you a new one. They changed the game for the first time, and that really ate into Blockbuster. But what killed Blockbuster?
When they went digital, obviously. And the Blockbuster passed up on the opportunity to buy them when they were at their absolute low.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and it's funny how somebody could change the game that hard and destroy a brick and mortar, well-established business like Blockbuster.
Well, I think it's important to remember that when it comes to games, when it comes to movies, when it comes to entertainment in general, it is information fundamentally. Unless it's like an art, it's people can say it's a form of art. But this type of art is something that you don't physically need,
right,
to interact with. When it's something like that you don't need to physically interact with to get the full appreciation, it's whoever can deliver you the information fastest, most efficient, most convenient. That's why transitioning to digital, it's like newspapers are gone, the internet is here. Magazines are dying, the internet is here. Games are now coming through the internet. Movies are coming through the internet because the way you transfer information completely changed to a more efficient and convenient method.
So what is the potential equivalent to Netflix to Blockbuster as Steam to gaming? What's the equivalent potentially?
You're talking about for a replacement to Steam?
Yeah.
It would be Steam as a service. That's the only thing.
What's the most?
Only thing.
What is the most likely competitor in that right now?
Oh, I mean, the one I told you before this that I'm going to say, it's the biggest threat to Steam right now is going to be Microsoft taking exclusivity to its service and any game that they have on that. And if they do their service right for playing any game you want to play for a monthly fee, I think that's the only thing that really takes market share from Steam. I don't think it could kill Steam because not everyone is going to want to do the service thing. You know, like Spotify and music streaming, musicians don't get the best deal. Just like sometimes people on, like even YouTubers and stuff, they don't get the best deal all the time because they're just a little cog. Whereas when they're selling their stuff on Steam, I think they get a better deal. So if they don't want to be part of the service, they're still going to be on Steam. So you're not going to kill Steam because people still want to buy things, right?
I think Microsoft's going to double dip for a long time. I mean, look, they got Halo on. I think the main difference is somebody willing to pay $15 a month for access to Microsoft's games, or are they willing to just drop $60 when they want Halo?
Right. I think people will do math and figure out how much they would pay versus how many games they actually play.
I think a lot of people who subscribe to various streaming services don't do any math and they just say, oh, $5 a month sounds good.
It's different when you're buying. Like, I think everyone gets their money worth out of Netflix. I think everyone does. When you compare it to like going to the actual movies, like what the price per ticket is.
That's a good point. Sure.
Like the amount of entertainment you can watch in like a month is for that fee. What is it? $14 right now or whatever. So
yeah,
it's like $14. That's one movie ticket at the average place if you're not getting matinee, right?
I mean, Game Pass is a quarter of the game. $15 a month versus $60 for a brand new game.
Right. So if you're buying a game every month, then
even every other month
or every other month, right? I think it's not a terrible deal, but it really comes down to what you're trying to play
and whether or not you care about owning games.
Yeah.
If ownership is important to you, you're probably still collecting CDs too.
Right. I see the perks, right? But at the same time, I realize that most of the games I want to play are not going to be there. And by the time you get to the end of that subscription, it's like I question if I will get my money's worth. At least for whatever Microsoft does. What games would be on it is the question.
Well, right? Should we go through it? Should we?
Yeah, let's see what games are on it and see if the math works out of it being a good deal or not. So I also think that the dark horse in this is Amazon.
Well, let's get through Game Pass first. Let's get through this one first. It is now called PC Game Pass if you have the PC version, or Xbox Ultimate would also include PC Game Pass.
But I also think that Xbox is going to die, so I think Microsoft is killing the Xbox. And it's just going to become a PC gaming. So
let's see. Oh, games, there it is. I almost missed it. Okay, so let's see what you get. Oh yeah, EA Play is included too, by the way.
Okay, so you get EA games.
You get all the EA games, yep. Whatever's on EA Play. Yep. Here, explore the library.
Sports games, that's all it is.
No, they've got like BioWare stuff in there too. Like Dragon, I think Dragon Age is in there. I think Need for Speed's in there.
And Battlefield. But I'm just saying, like, it's basic. You're gonna have Battlefield. You're gonna have Call of Duty games now because they purchased Activision.
Yeah, you're gonna get that too. All right, here you go. So Sniper Elite, you got Cricket. There you go.
No,
I know that's your favorite. Loot River. Oops, I did not mean to click that.
Not good games. Not good game. Farming Simulator for.
No, Jurassic World Evolution 2. I heard that's a good game actually.
Okay. They have NHL. All right, first game that someone would actually want to pay for a subscription on.
Well, you get. Oh, this is the Xbox ones. I want PC games. Hold on.
Well, there's 431 results. Like, let's just be honest. That's a lot of games.
That is a lot.
So they're gonna have all the sports games. It's a subscription for the sports games. At this point.
Well, I mean, for PC, you get Age of Empires games. Like I downloaded Age of Empires 4 on there. And the thing with Game Pass is you get the brand new games day one.
Right. So I mean, I'm not gonna say it's a bad deal because I don't think it is a bad deal.
Back 4 Blood's on there.
It's really them trying to
all the Battlefields.
It is really them trying to lock people into their subscription.
Well, to be honest, here's where I'm at. I'm surprised that Valve included Bridge Constructor for Portal on there. I think honestly where I'm at with it is that this isn't going to steer somebody who has, hundreds of games on Steam over to Game Pass. It's not going to do that.
But for somebody people from buying games on Steam,
it's going to prevent new PC gamers from subscribing to the ecosystem of Steam, and instead they might opt for this and never buy a game on Steam.
It's not just about new PC gamers, right? It's going to be PC gamers who decide to just pay a subscription fee and leave the purchasing of new games out of their thought process. Like,
that's definitely going to happen.
But the question is, how long does it take Steam to just develop their own version of this? I
don't think Steam wants to.
Really?
I don't.
You don't think they will? If they stop selling games, you don't.
Well, if the game's slowed down, they might have a service ready to go any day.
They probably already have this thought out. They just haven't. It's more lucrative not to do it. Like, they probably have done the math. It's a how do we save our asses? That's what it is. Like
How do we pull the plug in case
no,
something
it's their
happens?
doom. It's probably their doomsday plan.
Mutually assured destruction.
Right. Like, why would you do it? Why would you do it if you can just sell the games individually right now? There's no reason to do this unless you're trying to, like, completely do something different, right?
Yeah.
It's a desperation move more than anything.
But I would say that Game Pass kind of changes. They change the game kind of like how Netflix did. The biggest difference between how Game Pass changes the game and how Netflix changed the game is when Netflix changed the game, they were the only ones that did it with a service like streaming. In this case, Xbox Game Pass is not streaming. It's downloading the same games you would download on Steam, except you pay a monthly subscription instead of buying your games.
Well, and you have to be logged in, obviously, to play.
Yeah, I mean, you could be online.
It's basically what Xbox wanted to do with their Xbox One.
Yeah, the DRM.
Yeah. So it's everything people hated about Xbox, just done in a way that seems convenient, but is basically it's kind of a capture.
I mean, I pointed that out to Will. He didn't seem to get it. I was like, this is exactly what they wanted to do with the Xbox One.
It is. They just found out that they can't do it. They have to do it as pure software. They can't do it as hardware because no one will accept it as hardware. No one would accept DMR with
DRM.
No one would accept it with software or without it just being pure software. Because
can you believe I'm still scrolling through games? Like, this is everything.
I told you there's 431 results.
I'm just saying, like, it's insane. The amount.
They're not all good, by the way.
A lot of them are. Oh, look at this! Paw Patrol Mighty Pup Save Adventure Bay. That's the best one.
All I'm saying is this is a move by a company that wants to get out of consoles, but they also want to control your games.
Yeah, they want to be your library. They don't want you to have your own. They want you to use theirs.
Which is why they're doing this. My question was, does Game Pass require an Xbox Live account?
Yes.
So you currently have to pay the $60 a year?
No. Xbox Live is included, but you have to make an Xbox Live account. So if you have Game Pass,
Game Pass only costs how much a month?
$15.
Yep. Okay.
It's totally worth it if you're going to pay for Xbox Live, anyways, because Xbox Live is $10 a month or $60 a year.
Right. It's basically the same thing. All right.
So you're not paying that much more to get yourself a Xbox Game Pass account. If you're on the monthly plan, it's $5. That's an easy sell.
So I guess my thing is, I 100% agree that Xbox is the competitor. I think Steam will just release something extremely similar and try to become one of the big three. That's basically the only way I could see it going. You know, they're going to try to become basically a console.
A console without the console.
Yeah. They're going to have to start having their, like, at least maybe be like the incubator for indie games and then like sign exclusivities for future projects with talented developers. They're going to have to start getting themselves sub studios.
Maybe they could just finally make, a new Half-Life game, a new Portal game, Left 4 Dead 3,
No,
make a third game.
They've moved on, man. They've done, let's be honest, Xbox is now trying to do what Valve did.
Yeah. They're exiting.
They moved on from producing things to being a store.
No, they still produce. That's why they bought all these other companies,
I'm
right?
joking.
I mean, they do take forever to come out with anything good, and when they do, you get Halo Infinite, which is missing all of the content. I'm
joking. No, I'm saying Xbox is trying to go the route of Valve.
They are. I mean, everybody wants to be where Valve's at, where they basically don't have to produce anything themselves, and they make a ton of money.
Yeah, basically, and like
I bet you Half-Life 3 has been done for a decade, and they're just not releasing it.
Probably. I'm telling you, Valve doesn't do anything unless they feel threatened.
Oh, you're totally right. You're totally right about that.
I think, okay, but obviously Xbox is the main competitor.
I do want to shout out
Microsoft is.
to Hyperion. Thanks for popping in and setting us a little comment here, and hopefully you enjoy the show.
But like, yeah, obviously Microsoft is the main competitor because they're trying to change it to be a subscription. Everyone loves subscriptions these days. Everyone has more than they can count or even remember that they have. So
Yeah, that's a
so
fact.
they're also going to get parents. I think that's the biggie, right?
Oh yeah.
There's
What parent wants to pay $60
where,
every few months for new games? They're like, all right, throw it on a subscription service. Good to go.
Yeah. And then I do though think that there is the dark horse in the race, and I think that's Amazon. And I think that's just because Bezos will throw money at anything. And they've already tried, they already have a service now, don't they? Isn't it Luna or whatever?
Yeah, I didn't mean to go to Amazon. I want people to see my own Amazon account. My goal was to get to what is Amazon's gaming studio. They got Prime Gaming too. What's that? Unlimited streaming. Oh, that's Prime Video. No, it's different. Oh. Here, Amazon Games. That's what I want. I don't think there's so much like disdain for Amazon entering stuff, but look at how well Prime Video has done. And it's a combo of Steam and Microsoft's Steam and Game Pass, because you get the streaming videos in there and you also have the store stuff. And I think that's what Steam would do. They would integrate and say, like, these games are your available Steam games.
Okay, here's the crazy idea. What if Amazon decided to try to buy Valve for Steam and integrate them into their Amazon
that's gonna happen. That would be such a hostile takeover. Like, that's, I don't know.
That'd be
that would
funny.
Be,
I would hate it, but at the same time, I would respect the play.
I mean, I would respect it from a business standpoint. Like, you're buying, but here's the thing: Gabe Newell owns more than 50%, so you have to convince Gabe Newell that he's willing to pay.
What if they partnered?
I don't think Amazon partners with anybody. I think they just buy people.
Which is why I'm assuming that they're not buying EA. But
yeah,
at the same time, who else could afford EA? I don't think anyone else can afford them.
Microsoft probably could.
No, not if they're doing the Activision deal. There's no fucking way.
They could. I mean,
no, there's no way. There's no way Microsoft has enough money to buy Activision and EA at the same time.
I don't know, man.
None. Do not underestimate how self-important EA thinks they are, because they're totally going to value themselves greater than Activision. They're totally going to think they're worth more.
I mean, the sports side.
You do not underestimate how much they think those sports games are worth, and how much they still think that. Well, one, they think Battlefield is probably just as good as Call of Duty. They will say that they have Dragon Age and Mass Effect.
Mass Effect is worth a few bucks. I think Mass Effect resonates with a lot of your Xbox fans, because a lot of them like Halo, and Mass Effect is like Halo except not Halo.
I'm just saying, there's no way that Microsoft gets away with offering them less than what they paid for Activision, without EA being like, oh, that's a nice 25% bid you have there on the company. We would gladly partner with you, but you're not owning us.
They were working on a Lord of the Rings MMO. Did you know that?
No.
Apparently they were involved with Lord of the Rings MMO.
That's why. Okay, let me be completely and utterly honest. If it wasn't for Lord of the Rings being owned by Amazon, I would have no delusions about them trying to buy a big gaming studio right now.
Yeah.
Because they have Lord of the Rings. They basically have the rights to do whatever they want with Lord of the Rings.
Only in the second age, but that's fine.
So what? Are you telling me that they're not going to try to make video games to capitalize on that? They need someone. They need a studio.
What if Amazon...
Is it EA or Ubisoft? Who are they picking?
What if Amazon went straight up, we don't care, we're just going to buy something, and they bought a giant amount of Tencent?
Why would they buy Tencent?
Because Tencent has their little grippers and everything.
I hate Tencent.
I know, but if Amazon owned them, Can you imagine?
That'd be too hostile. No, but like, okay,
No, they'll probably buy. No. You know who Amazon's gonna buy? If they're gonna buy a gaming company, it'll be Take-Two, because GTA being Amazon exclusive, especially GTA 6,
is
would
Take-Two
convert
shopping around? I can't remember.
I think they are.
Because didn't they just buy someone?
No.
Yeah, they bought Zynga.
You think of THQ Nordic.
No,
Zynga makes them mobile friendly. That's why they bought Zynga.
So what? That was a big purchase.
Farmville. They wanted Farmville so they could have,
but it was a
people
big
rolling
purchase.
People rolling up in a gangster car and shooting up the farm. Can you imagine like Farmville, like a random event occurs and you see like GTA characters like getting out of their car and shooting up your crops?
They just add Farmville to GTA.
Yeah.
They make Trevor a farmer in his mobile home. He's actually just growing weed as a game mechanic.
or to access your Farmville, you have to get into GTA and then pull out your mobile phone inside of GTA to play Farmville.
But like, you can see what I'm saying though, right? Amazon's kind of a dark horse. Yeah. I don't see them really competing. I just see them jumping into the scene. So you'll have like three. I see three.
Google jumps in.
Huh?
What if Google jumps in and like launches
their own? They kind of are.
No, I'm saying like, what if they launched a game store only available on the Chromebooks? No. And they launched like high-end Chromebooks.
Their Stadia is technically, it's basically dead because they had like the dumbest concept for Stadia.
Yeah. You want to pay for a subscription and pay for the games? It's like, what?
Yeah.
No, they should have just taken a cut off of every game sold.
Right. So basically, like
everybody else does.
I think you're going to have like three streaming services. You'll obviously have Xbox with their, Microsoft Game Pass, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Steam will probably have to respond by doing something extremely similar. Then Amazon is already trying to do something like this, right?
But Steam will probably undercut Microsoft, but sell you less games. Like it'll be $9.99, and initially you'll have access to all of Steam's in-house games, and then select indie titles that they have on the service.
Right, and then you'll have to have, and then someone like Amazon will get into it. Like I just think I think the market's one that has 3 players.
Most markets can have 3 players.
Yeah, because look at it this way: you currently have 3 consoles.
Yep.
I don't see that changing when it comes to the.
And you got like a bunch of indie stuff, but yeah.
Yeah.
And then you've got like 3 operating systems really with Mac.
Question is, who does
Windows,
Nintendo
Linux.
and Sony partner with?
They don't. Why would they?
Why wouldn't they?
Sony has their own streaming service. They got PS Now, and now it's going to be PlayStation Plus, and that will stream your phone. And
so fine, we'll have 4. We'll have 4. Who does Nintendo partner with?
I just don't think PlayStation's in real competition with Steam.
So you think they're just going to be EA Origins?
No, I think that their service will only really who's buying PlayStation Now or PlayStation Plus? It's all your people that already have Sony products.
But they're
selling their products on Steam.
Sony isn't selling on Steam.
Yeah, they are.
What are they selling on Steam?
All right, fine. I'll pull up the window. Let me get out of this one.
Sony exclusives?
Yeah. How do you not know this?
So Infamous is on Steam now?
No, like Horizon is.
Oh, I guess they're trying to partner with Steam.
They could. Yeah, you're totally right. It could be.
I'm telling you, they have to partner with somebody if they're going to sell it not to their people exclusively.
Now I'm curious how many Sony games are on Steam.
There's not that many.
That partnership would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, they're going to partner with Steam. There you go.
You could get Sony and Steam products on one service on the computer. Why is it not letting me search?
That's Valve's only choice, right? Like, let's be real. If they have to compete if they have to compete with Microsoft, who has Xbox exclusives, they have to find another studio. What's the fastest way to find a studio than to partner with Sony or Nintendo? They'll probably partner with Sony because Sony's much more cooperative.
And they'll probably have like across the board where you can buy a game on Steam and also have cross buy with PlayStation.
Probably. Sony already shows that they're open to that with PlayStation 4, PS5. So
right. So you've got Horizon Zero Dawn, God of War, Uncharted, Legacy of Thieves collection.
Okay.
I think that's
Oh,
all
okay.
the
Then they're doing it now, where they're going to. It's
Days Gone,
Steam and Sony are going to partner. That's
Helldivers. So there's 34 games, or no, I'm sorry, 7 games currently, 34 things. So they have DLC that are Sony, like PlayStation PC brand, which is Helldivers, Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, Guns Up, and then Horizon,
okay.
Predator Hunting Grounds, Days Gone, and God of War. And upcoming, they have the Uncharted collection. That's amazing. I'm surprised they put
That's
whole...
a lot more than I thought.
Yeah. Yo, Walter White.
But yeah, no, okay, that makes the most sense, actually. Then if Sony's already working with Valve on this,
Microsoft's on Steam too, so I don't know. Microsoft
no, but
partners
like
with everybody.
Sony's working with Steam to do these in a sense. It's like that's far more cooperative than I thought it was. So
yeah, I mean,
and Sony's not trying to release a subscription that's like other games that aren't Sony games.
No, you're totally right. So if they partner with Steam, like say you paid $15 a month, you got access to Steam, PlayStation Plus games on Steam. There you go.
That's what's gonna happen.
And then
So,
Steam could say an extra $5.
Microsoft is going to try to be Netflix. Steam is going to try to be Hulu. Amazon's going to try to be Peacock. There you go.
Well, I think Amazon will just I think what
they're just going to say Prime, and they're just going to try to. They're going to maintain that
they'll just slip random crap into the service that you didn't know you were paying for. Like Prime Video showed up one day, and it has been there to stay since. Like it was like one of those things where you find out like, oh, I have access to these free things on Prime Video that I didn't know I even had a service of. That's pretty cool, and I'm already paying for it.
Amazon's just going to make it where Prime is more expensive slowly over time and try to make it where their ecosystem is just everybody can't live without Prime. So they don't have to change anything. It's just going to stay Amazon Prime because they're already in the video.
Yeah, Prime Video.
So.
It'll be Prime Games. Like you'll end up having access. In fact,
they already have Prime Music and all of that. So
there's already like random like DLC and stuff you can get for free, like XP things, bonuses and stuff, while watching Twitch.
Really? Oh yeah. You can't forget that they have Twitch. I think Amazon is a much bigger dark horse than you think, just because of how they already have like the self promotion there with Twitch.
Who would Amazon like? Let's just put it this way. Technically
they won't
speaking,
partner
Nintendo,
with anyone though. That's the problem.
Nintendo technically has a service. They have a back catalog service that they sell. Mm-hmm. Like if Nintendo expands that far enough out, that is direct competition with Microsoft, but only nostalgia.
So you know who Nintendo's going to partner with?
Netflix.
Yes.
Netflix? No, I'm just kidding.
Or they'll partner with Apple. It'll be weird. Huh? No, I have not.
So I used to watch this show. It was called The League. It's about a bunch of fantasy footballers.
Yeah.
And at one point in time, somebody accidentally says Netflix instead of Netflix, and it gives the character Taco, who's like the dropout brother of the main character, who's really never had a successful thing in his life, decides to start doing a tie business where you buy it, you get a subscription, you get a certain number of ties every month, then you ship them back, get new ties.
Oh wow.
Netflix.
No.
Anyway, sorry.
It's no, it's okay. It's funny. That's funny. We're just gonna see a merge between video streamers and gaming streaming. It's like that's what's gonna happen.
Well, Netflix is kind of going about it in a weird way. So let's talk about Netflix. Netflix is buying game studios and putting apps on app stores. So instead of actually
they're focused on mobile games. That's their focus. Yeah. This is why it was weird. Like if they're buying Ubisoft, it's primarily for the ability to make the TV shows, it feels like.
The only one that makes sense to me for Netflix to buy is Telltale Games. Like, why would they buy any other studio? You could literally incorporate that directly into video streaming.
Okay, but if they end up buying Ubisoft, because they were rumored to be one of the people, It's because they want the IP for TV series. Think Assassin's Creed, Tom Clancy's. That's all I'm saying, though.
Well, they've already got Tom Clancy's technically already being done on
Amazon, which is why I'm surprised that Amazon isn't one of the main people for. They seem like they would be the ones to buy Ubisoft if they're trying to do games and have their TV shows.
Amazon decides randomly they're just gonna buy CD Projekt Red. They're just gonna buy them
so they can stop Netflix from making
steal The Witcher. Yeah. Well, no, I don't think you can stop it.
You can steal future seasons.
Yeah. You couldn't stop it in production. That'd be a really weird one. No, they want to make the
middle of production. They just change out the director and say now it has an Amazon label on it.
Jeff Bezos is directing The Witcher. He's taking time out of his busy day just to direct The Witcher.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
No, I would be, if I was going to do that, I'd make the Cyberpunk 2077 show.
Well, okay, I'm assuming that Ubisoft owns the rights to all Tom Clancy games. I don't know for certain, but I don't think anyone else makes Tom Clancy video games.
I think you're right about that. But I think Amazon paid for the rights for movies and TV.
Right, which is why if anyone was to try to buy Ubisoft, I feel like Amazon would be way too incentivized, right? Think of how many games they could make that are tied to the TV shows. It's too good of a deal. And then they could also always just make an Assassin's Creed TV series.
You could always make a bad Assassin's Creed movie again.
No, you can't do that as a movie. It would have to be a TV series.
That was one of the worst video game adaptations ever. Like that.
It is because it's meant for a TV series. It's not meant for a movie. Also, they could make the Expanse TV from their TV series into a video game, and that'd actually be cool.
I think Amazon, if they wanted to get into gaming, they have to buy a good game studio.
Yes.
Now, I do think that one of the reasons Sony is purchasing some of these studios is A, you got to protect the IP, and B, to add more things to their streaming service. It's like Bungie has both the Destiny games to add to their, not streaming service, but their games as a service thing. And if they can reach back into the back catalog, you might have Marathon.
Well, let's not forget too that Sony went through a period of trimming some of their studios.
Yeah, they did.
So them buying studios now is after they trimmed some. So they went on an extended period of trimming.
Mm-hmm.
Which I am still sad of because I liked Zipper and I thought that
I like Japan Studio too, which has been absorbed into another studio, which actually is where Team Eco comes from. So Shadow of the Colossus and Eco and The Last Guardian are probably not going to get another sequel to them. I'm
sad about Zipper because it was not just that. SOCOM also died because of that. What studio has replaced that?
Bungie. Bungie's going to.
No, they're not. They're not replacing that.
You don't think that Bungie will end up making like Destiny SOCOM?
What's Sony exclusive is basically that category of game. They don't have any anymore because they got rid of
tactical shooter.
Yeah, they got rid of tactical shooters when they got rid of Zipper, basically.
I think that Destiny's going to get some tactical shooters.
No, Destiny's not tactical at all.
No, I think they're going to get a Destiny-themed tactical shooter.
You think Bungie can do that?
I don't think Bungie is going to do it. I think the IP will just be given to somebody.
They'll have a new studio do it.
Yeah, or like a subsidiary of Bungie or something.
Right. I'm trying to think what smaller studio would be a good pickup that would.
Now, wait. So let's say Steam wants to compete with all these services.
They have to partner with Sony.
They probably partner with Sony.
I think that's actually the play.
Because that's why Sony now has their own PC brand, right?
So I think if Steam wanted to actually compete with Microsoft, because it's going to be Microsoft, and then probably Amazon. If they want to compete with Microsoft, they need to have a lot of studios that are working on exclusive content for Steam's website. Only the fastest way to do that is to partner with one of the big three. Obviously, they can't do it with Microsoft. Nintendo is not. It's not going to be Nintendo. I just don't see it.
I don't think Nintendo ever is going to partner with anybody. I think they'll just keep doing their own thing until they.
Until they have to be purchased by somebody.
Until they ride off into the sunset.
I think they would have to partner with Sony, and I think Sony would be up for it because
I think that's part of why they moved their PlayStation headquarters to US instead of Japan.
Yeah, I think Sony would be a good one to do that with, and I think that Sony would probably welcome the infrastructure expertise, right?
I think mostly because Sony only puts their old games onto Steam. They don't put most of their new ones. Usually 2 or 3 years after they've already sold out on PlayStation. Like, all right,
if they did a partnership, right, they could. I'm curious how integrated that partnership would be, because Sony would probably benefit a lot from the infrastructure expertise that Valve has with that whole.
And they're the two main VR companies, let's face it.
That too.
Imagine Half-Life Alyx on the PlayStation VR.
Actually, make a very valid point that would be a really strong. That'd be a really strong partnership, because they would basically dominate VR games.
They really would, because PlayStation has the most popular VR headset, and Valve has the best VR games.
So unless Microsoft wanted to partner with Facebook,
they already did. Mixer, don't you remember? All of Facebook's live streaming service is Microsoft powered. They bought Mixer.
Okay, well, fine, but yeah, I think if we're going off this, who's the biggest competition for Steam, I think it would be really hard for Steam to lose if they actually played their cards right.
I think you're right about that.
At the end of the day, right, Sony and Steam make the most natural partnership, because they would still be catering to the average gamer of PCs. There's a lot between Sony's whole style that's focused more on RPGs and single player is so much more geared towards the PC gamer anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like Microsoft might actually be shooting themselves in the foot if they're with this strategy. They're trying to go for a market that doesn't exist for their product.
I mean, it does exist on it does exist. I'm not gonna lie. I am a Game Pass subscriber. I wouldn't say I use it enough to justify having it, but I do.
They won't be able to get rid of their Xbox, is what I'm saying.
They probably can't dump Xbox.
Yeah,
not for another decade.
But at the same time, I feel like this makes it less appealing to own.
I think what Xbox has to do, what they have to do, is merge Xbox with a PC. Is literally sell a low-end gaming PC as an Xbox and give you the Windows ecosystem with it. So let's say the next Xbox is a straight up desktop PC that you just plop it next to your set of two monitors, and then have 2 HDMI out, one for monitors, one for TV, and then it's compatible with everything.
But you see what I'm saying, right? If it feels like it would make Xbox very niche.
But you could have Xbox mode where you just never use the PC side, and then boom, it's like the PS3 when they try to do that weird Linux operating system.
No. But what I'm trying to say is, Xbox, if you're going this route where you're involved with PCs, right? Sony's catalog is much better to the people who like PC gaming. So the streaming service will be trying to be you buy this platform, that you would be geared more towards the console people, right? So it's you buy this console, you get the streaming service. It just seems like it doesn't have the same user base as Steam's crowd. And I don't know why, but it's if you're a PC gamer and you're choosing between the two services, I feel like you stick with Steam.
I feel like if you're a PC gamer, you're more likely to have a PlayStation or a Nintendo console than an Xbox.
Right.
It's trying to get an Xbox and a PC is probably not what somebody's going to do. They're either going to have an Xbox or a PC. They're not going to have both. Most gamers who game on these consoles, if you have a gaming PC, the chance of you having an Xbox is low.
Right, and also it just depends, right? I don't know. I just, for some reason, I just get a weird vibe from the Xbox strategy. I don't know why.
I think Xbox Game Pass hurts the industry. I'll say it. I think Xbox
I don't
Game
think it
Pass
hurts the industry. I think it
it
hurts
does.
Microsoft.
I know.
I think it hurts Microsoft.
I think Game Pass on its own will kill a lot of development, a lot of gaming opportunities. I think it'll slowly but surely slow down or stop a lot of development on games that were in progress or are in progress, because at some point the service has to be profitable. And if you're pumping out game after game after game after game after game, people are going to expect game after game after game after game. So you got to slow everything down.
It has to be curated, very curated.
Which means you got to curate development too.
You either have to be very curated, or you have to do a weird Spotify model where you pay based on streams, right? How many times someone plays it?
So what about your internal dev studios? Do you you give money towards internal dev studios based on the number of downloads,
probably,
or gameplay time, or what?
That's probably what they would have. They would have to do some sort of metric like that, right?
So if somebody plays 1,000 hours of Halo and somebody else plays 1,000 hours of Call of Duty, and then they play 0 hours of some other game, I don't know, one of the Bethesda games, do you stop giving money to Bethesda for that player? Like, I don't know how that works with internal studio development, because just because they don't play a Bethesda game this month doesn't mean they won't play it next month or the month after that or the month after that.
I mean, they'll probably have some holistic approach to that, but look at how musicians are paid on Spotify, man. It's per stream. That's the only way to do a subscription-based service.
But the difference is the artists aren't owned by Spotify. The developers under Microsoft are.
Yeah, and that's my point, right? Like, you're going to, any third party that wants to be, you're not going to have a lot of third parties wanting to be on those.
But they do get paid. Like, usually Microsoft, for indies that get on there, they give them a big contract up front, which usually pays for the entire development of the game.
Right. But they're trying to, okay. It's just like, you know.
But if you want like Ubisoft games on the platform, you're going to pay them per download, per game.
So, but what I'm saying is, all right, when you look at it, right, look at it this way. Microsoft is trying to do this strategy to try to control your game library, to make it where you're so invested into their subscription that you never want to leave it. They're trying to audience capture, right? So that game studios have to use it.
That's a good point.
To reach the customer. So right now they're trying to customer capture.
They want to be the middleman. They want to be PayPal.
Yes. So as long as the only way people will stick to them is if everything becomes subscription. If everyone doesn't stick with them, you'll get the developers going anywhere that they can sell their stuff and not have to be part of the subscription. But at the same time, they can always be convinced to do stuff in subscription. So it's like, I think Steam wins because I don't think Steam completely gets rid of selling. And I think they make it where it's optional, right?
I do think you're right about that. Like, let's imagine if you subscribe via PlayStation or Steam and you get access to both Steam and PlayStation games. I think that's a very lucrative opportunity for both sides.
Mm-hmm. And then, like, look at it this way too. Like, Steam won't make every game. They're not going to get rid of their marketplace to be able to sell games.
No, they won't. Neither will PlayStation.
Right.
Which is why they're not. They're not even giving you first party studios on day one.
Right. So what Steam will allow indie developers to maybe have a foot in the door to the subscription, right?
Sure.
Gets
and it'll
exposure.
Be like a per download or per
right. There's like some per like it's exposure. It's allowing people to experience what their games are.
You get on the front page if you allow your game into the service, right? You get on the front page. Boom.
It's great exposure. But if that indie developer becomes extremely popular, they're going to be highly incentivized to either they'll get purchased, absorbed by some bigger company, or two, they decide that they want to remove themselves from the subscription service and just be pay only to buy, where people have to buy their games. So it's like, I think Steam has a setup would be much more win-win
for indie
because
games for
they're
those guys.
never going to get rid of the ability to buy and sell games. I just
Most
don't
likely
see
what
it.
would happen is these indie studios would be like a 1 month trial deal through Steam, and then Steam would be like, all right, cool.
Right. I feel like it'd be much more curated, a better curation on Steam. That's more developer friendly. Because
They
Steam
probably
has
also have to
always
apply. I would say indies would probably have to
right.
apply to be in it, the program, right?
I just feel like Steam would be better curated and developer friendly, whereas Microsoft comes off as like audience capture and slightly more screw over the developers. I don't know why, but I just don't. I see it as malicious in a certain sense.
Microsoft is trying to go Apple model, whereas
yes,
Steam would
100%.
be more like Android model, more open
Yes,
to other things.
I think that's a great analogy to it.
Yeah, walled garden versus open terrarium.
Basically, yeah.
Grow what you want.
And I think honestly, I think I could see Sony partnering because that's also a great way to find studios, right?
It'd be a great way for them to get more exposure on PC, because that's what they want to
Mm-hmm.
expand to. Is they want to have PC gaming too, because I think they've recognized that a lot of console gamers are already in an ecosystem, whether it's Xbox, Nintendo, or Sony, or all three, or who knows, combination of the two. But they're not hitting PC serious PC focused gamers with the PlayStation brand, and there's a huge market.
And it's a little sad too, right? Because the Sony games tend to be what I think PC gamers would want too. Like it's definitely the game that they would want.
So I guess I would say definitely when we look at this big picture, Sony and Steam are not in competition.
No.
So yes, the partnership makes
they're the most likely partnership. Yeah.
Epic was a decent competitor with Steam, but their hostile takeover kind of messed up their whole. They're totally so they're basically just Fortnite.
Maybe that's who Amazon buys.
Epic. I mean, that's why I was saying Tencent. If they bought Tencent, they don't have a piece of that pie. You know what I mean?
Right.
But anyways, I digress. The point I was getting to is, but Epic just did something really interesting in that they sued Apple to try and change the App Store. Basically, say like, hey, we should be able to have our own App Store and our own monetization options that are outside of the Apple ecosystem. Halfway lost. They kind of lost. They kind of won. There was like one thing that they decided that Epic was right about, and then Apple had to like change their whole strategy with Epic Games in the App Store and like offered them like a much better deal so they would shut up about it. I think they dropped their cut to like 10% or something. That's 30% across the board, but 10% for Epic.
It's
there was one thing. It was like basically that Epic could do something. I'm trying to remember what it was. It was basically open. It didn't close the door. It left the door open for something. I'm trying to remember what it was.
Was it about the fact that Apple can't be like the only provider or something weird like that?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what exactly it was. Apple versus Epic. Rap Battles of History. Oh, that was a good series when I used to watch that. I don't know if it's still a thing.
It is still a thing, I think. At least they had one not that long ago.
All right, let's see what the latest update was. They've been fighting since 2020. All right, let's see here. Here's the Wikipedia. There was
money involved.
Oh my gosh, so much money. And they would never go after this if they thought that they would get nothing out of it. Oh, Epic filed against Google. Huh.
Not shocking. You can throw darts at any of those companies and try to find something that's like unfair practices.
All right,
I don't think that's that impressive.
Epic Games argued that Apple maintains monopoly for iOS-enabled devices and thus his behavior in restricting all. I think the biggest problem is when you have just two operating systems, namely iOS and Android, when it comes to mobile space. It is essentially a duopoly.
No, but okay, here's my problem. Apple owns the code. It's their code. It's their software. Okay? Their software. And it's their devices. You have to have the fight with Apple is more on right to repair than it is who's providing services to it. It's like, I don't understand this. It's like, it's an Apple phone. There's no such thing as a monopoly for Apple on their phones. It's their effing phone. You have to compare them to other phones.
I guess my point is that
Are we
Apple
going to
controls.
sue? Wait, are
Apple
you going to
controls the whole.
sue
Go ahead.
Microsoft? Are you going to sue Microsoft for having a fucking monopoly on OS for PCs? Like,
That's no, I think because Microsoft still allows other stores on their platform. Look, Steam exists on Windows.
yes, but like you can get Steam on Mac OS as well.
Now you can. It wasn't always like that.
It's been available
for a while. A little
since
2015.
2013.
2015 was Mac. I think 27. No, I'm sorry. 2013
it was
Mac.
Earlier.
2015 was Linux. That's right.
Mac was earlier. I swear,
You're right.
Mac. It was earlier. It was 2013 for Mac. Apple was 2013. They allow Steam on there, man. That's all I can say. And that was more a fact. I think that was less of Apple not allowing it, and more the fact that Steam finally developed.
Here's what the kicker was. Apple was ruled against on the final charge related to anti-steering provisions. This is interesting. I'm going to pull it up. Here. I'm going to show you what it is. So after 90 days from the ruling, they blocked Apple from preventing developers from linking app users to other storefronts within apps to complete purchases, or from collecting information within an app, such as an email to notify users of these storefronts. So Epic could put a link in there to take you to the Epic Game Store online on the Safari browser to buy your in-game stuff there instead. So basically they could just say no more in-app payments.
Is it bad that I actually don't like that ruling?
I'm just saying, Apple has blocked you from allowing
external. I kind of like the fact that Apple has a little bit of that.
Well, I don't like Fortnite, but I do think that Apple should not be able to control every way to purchase things on their phone.
No, but okay, this brings a different issue, right? That I don't like. And it's the fact that there's so many apps out there, right? That I'm looking at TikTok. Okay, look at TikTok. Look at how much
that one.
Yeah, you shouldn't, because it's spyware. All right, and it's the most invasive app on the damn store. All right,
it is.
I think Apple should be blocking all of that bullshit. I really do. But it's like, this is the same issue that you're describing right here, where if they bring you off of the app, basically, to another website, that way, there's certain things in that
now Apple does something
that Google,
Apple does something that Google doesn't. In that when you have an app on the App Store, you have to tell, basically, if you're found out to have external factors in an app, it has to be disclosed and you have to allow it. Apple has probably the strongest privacy. Okay, let's get into this now. Here's the next thing. The competition that I don't think anybody thinks about is Apple. Does Apple compete with Steam with Apple Arcade? I think technically, indirectly, they do.
I think Apple competes because it just because it dominates mobile.
Do you know that Apple makes more money on gaming than all the other gaming companies combined? Yeah.
Which that's the only reason. That's who Netflix is trying to compete with. That's really all they're trying to compete with. And it makes sense. It's the biggest market. Mobile games are a huge market. Why? Because it's little kids with mommy's credit card buying in-game items.
No. Yes. Think about it. How many people are willing to sit through an in-app advertisement in a game they paid $60 for?
Well, think about how non-invasive those are too, as little banners.
Yeah.
So it's not a big deal.
How much money did Flappy Bird rake in?
A lot.
It was billions of dollars or something ridiculous.
I know, I'm so jealous.
Imagine inventing such a simple and fun game and making. So I do think that indirectly, the mobile gaming market is in competition with Steam, despite
I don't think it is in competition, because Steam isn't trying to be mobile.
No, I'm saying in regards to your time gaming, I think it is technically a competitor, and they are not stealing. they are raking in money that Steam could be having.
I mean, they are taking market share that they're of game time. So
because when I was a kid, I jumped onto Flash games, and now I just open up my phone, and those Flash games would have easily converted over to Steam, but now instead, y'all can't do that no more.
But let's be honest, Steam doesn't really do mobile games.
How much money did it make? There we go. I'm curious how much money Flappy Bird made. $50,000 per day.
Yeah,
that's insane.
And just think that douchebag took the game down because he couldn't handle the. It's like, oh, let me fan myself with money and wipe my tears away while people are harassing me. I'm making $50K a day. Grow up.
Let's see. So it said it would have had to have made over 1.2 million
money. He still makes money. I guarantee.
Oh no, 12 million. $12 million to $14 million. It looks like.
He just made it where it was no longer downloadable.
Yeah, and he said no. The Flappy Bird developer didn't give up on $50,000 a day. The game is no longer available, but more than 50 million people were playing it still. So yeah, he was still making that money.
Still making money. He's just like, oh, I'm gonna stop myself from making more money.
Actually, I think pulling it off the App Store probably made it more popular.
Yeah, because people refused to upgrade their phones when they knew that it would stop it from working.
Oh,
I contemplated selling my old ass phone with Flappy Bird on it because it was like
eBay had to change their terms and conditions because of this game, because you can't sell something based on software on it.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, I considered it because I probably have one of the. I held on to that phone forever. It might have been one of the last phones with it.
Imagine making a game so popular that eBay had to change their terms and conditions to prevent people from trying to sell it.
And look how shitty the thing looked. Look how shitty that looked.
It was so fun, though.
Right. I mean, frustrating.
No, it was fun. I my highest score ever was like 125.
How I beat you.
I didn't play it that long. I did enjoy it.
Dude, I only played it for like a month.
Dot Gears was a developer. What else? I think they've made other stuff, haven't they? Or is that it?
I think that's it. Because the guy's traumatized with all his money.
They developed Ninja Spinky Challenges.
I don't know, man. I think the guy who made Flappy Bird is just traumatized by all the money and fame to the point that he's hiding on some island somewhere, paying people to fan him with money. And
oh man! All right, well, we kind of beaten this extra topic to a dead horse. Let's see if there's anything to say about this. Apparently, Will is saying, "Have you guys talked about Xbox possibly turning down exclusive Marvel games?" I don't care about that. I don't know about you.
It's just Xbox.
No, I don't care because I don't care about Marvel.
No, why would they turn it down anyway?
Probably because they got to pay a lot of money for it, and they don't want to, and they probably don't sell very well on Xbox anyways.
Right, it's just not. It doesn't seem like Xbox is.
I feel like Marvel does better on Nintendo and Sony.
I mean,
definitely
they've seen how successful Sony made Spider-Man. They should.
Yeah, but Sony owns Spider-Man.
So what? They should be begging Sony to make the other games.
You know, that's a good. You know, honestly, that's something that I've never thought about. But like, Microsoft does not have their own superhero. I mean, they got the Master Chief.
Sony came out the gate with
Spider-Man,
Infamous back in the day, which was super successful. I can't think of a game that Microsoft has done exclusive.
Yeah, I other than when they took Tomb Raider timed exclusive, but that's still not a superhero.
No superhero.
I don't know. Did they ever have a superhero on Crackdown? Kind of.
I can't think of one, honestly. Like a known superhero game that was exclusive to Xbox.
Superhero game exclusive
Like, and it can't be something that's like already established either. Like by another studio that they just like, oh, we're gonna pay you for exclusivity. It has to be like Microsoft developed.
Yeah, no, you're right. Like, does Xbox need a superhero? Like, Xbox needs a superhero franchise. A lot of people are saying that. There really isn't a superhero franchise.
If I was Marvel, I would be begging Sony to make my games. I'd be begging them to, because
Oh man, I hate it when I get the weird ad blocker thing. You have an ad block on. Get out of here.
How could Xbox have had a Spider-Man and more? There's no way, because Sony has always owned Spider-Man. Don't lie, article.
No. I'm not buying this article. I didn't buy it. No, it's all good. Like,
No. I'm saying, look at the. No, they couldn't have had a Spider-Man. That's impossible. That is literally impossible. The article is misinformed and stupid.
Sorry, let's keep going here.
No offense, but like they start out right out the gate with something absurd.
Huh. Interesting. When did Sony become the sole owner of the rights to Spider-Man? It's been a long time. Was it when they produced the first Spider-Man movie?
They made those movies how long ago?
Tobey Maguire will always be Spider-Man.
Right.
Forever and always. That's how I feel about it.
I'm biased.
There is no other Spider-Man.
I'm biased in that way too.
He's the best. And I'm glad that they brought him back.
I'm just glad they finally made sense of it with the effing multiverse. That's all I can say. I'm just happy they finally made the movies reflect that.
Hard with some of those Spider-Man memes where everybody's pointing like, that was
but seriously though, they've needed to explain why they make a new one every year and they retell the same damn story of how Spider-Man becomes Spider-Man with just a different villain the first time he has to fight one. Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Scorn. Let's see what that is. Let's find out if that's an actual good game.
Scorn? I don't know, man.
It's just like a God of War competitor?
That's not a superhero.
No, it's not. It was in the article. I clicked on it. Yeah, this looks like more of a God of
War.
Yeah, it's got to be God of War.
Didn't they have a God of War competitor again that they tried? Wasn't there that weird Celtic lady?
Oh, Hellblade.
Yeah, Hellblade.
Yeah, but that's also
not an exclusive, right?
Yeah, I'm looking at my collection to see if I have anything that would even qualify. I don't think I do.
There isn't. Don't they have they still get the Arkham games and stuff. That's what.
Yeah, they do.
So they have superhero games.
No, I mean really Xbox has only ever done like Western RPGs and shooters.
I mean, they love shooters.
Yeah, the shooters is like Xbox is the first person shooter multiplayer console.
Yeah. Which is why they bought Activision, and that's why I don't believe. That's why I don't believe they're going to buy anyone else. I'm sorry.
I mean, maybe they want Battlefield. Maybe.
You mean they want to be the exclusive home of shooters?
Yeah, exactly. All right, here's the play that Sony needs to roll with. Halo Infinite is tanking hard. Like the player count is so low. It's not the game is good. The content that 343 launched it with is garbage. That's the problem. They try to make Halo free to play, and it can never be free to play. It has to always be content driven, DLC based.
Yeah.
Anyways, long story short, now they have Bungie. They should reboot Marathon. You know what people want Marathon rebooted? It's basically Halo before Halo. And the graphics were so bad back in the 90s that nobody's really, like a lot of people nowadays have never played Marathon. But the few people that did would be so excited they could start a word of mouth campaign for Marathon HD remakes. That would be amazing. And they could compete directly with their old franchise Halo.
I just think that it wouldn't be that hard to make something that's kind of like Halo. But
they already did on mobile. There's Nova, that horrible. I'm trying to remember who made it.
I mean, Bungie already kind of competes with Halo.
Destiny does not compete with Halo. It's not. No, Destiny's okay. Look, pardon my opinion here.
I don't think it's good. So you're not gonna hurt my feelings.
No. I was gonna say my friends at /frag.
Oh.
They like Destiny. I cannot stand Destiny. I don't like it. I tried
bought the
getting
first
into
one and I stopped playing it because it was this weird thing that was like I don't really understand why.
I logged in to play Destiny 1. This is why I think that Sony and Steam makes the most sense, because Sony has all these franchises that would work well with PC directly, especially as part of a service. Like Destiny, I think, works well with a service surrounding it, which they have never had since it first launched. But I really think that Destiny paired with something like PlayStation Plus or like whatever Steam service ends up being, they'll probably call it the spa. Or the sauna.
Yeah.
Sauna service. Anyways, I do think that Destiny needs to be paired with the service, and you need to get exclusive content for staying paired with that service. Something like that. But
yeah,
that's my thing. Anyways, I think we've kind of gone off the walls here with some of this.
We've beaten it to death. That's
so
for sure.
Maybe we should just sum up our thoughts here. So as far as Steam's main competition, right now their main competition is
Microsoft, 100%.
100%. They have their own storefront that's garbage, and they have Game Pass.
Yeah, it's definitely like a threat though to what the gaming ecosystem is as a whole.
Oh yeah,
as we've discussed,
no doubt.
It's trying to audience capture. I don't think Steam ever has intended to audience capture. They've by default audience captured because they do good things for the gamer.
They do.
And the community. Whereas
there's a reason
Microsoft
why everybody
throw that away.
There's a reason why everybody had backlash for Epic Games' hostile takeover.
Yes.
There was enough goodwill on Steam's side.
Oh yeah. And Epic Games is trying to do what Microsoft is trying to follow that playbook a little bit.
Without following it the same way.
Yeah, they're trying to do what I said would have been successful to a certain extent, which is
they're
why
basically bolstering indie
studios,
third-party studios. They're bolstering them instead of stealing them.
Yeah, basically. And then there's the dark horse, which is Amazon, which we're confused what they would do it as. But it's a dark horse because everyone already has Amazon Prime, which means it would be an easy sell to convince parents to be like, you already have a service that is good for you. Why not get your kids to play using our service?
Right. And then future competition, Steam will either go it alone or potentially with Sony, competing with Microsoft and probably Amazon.
Well, yeah, Steam's Doomsday Survival Kit involves mimicking
Game Pass in some way, shape,
Game Pass to a certain extent, where maybe it's a hybrid between a market and a streaming service, and maybe they partner with Sony because
right.
That would be it would be a win-win for both, honestly.
Most likely it would be a win-win, yeah. And giving Spider-Man on PC would be a big deal.
Like we said, Sony, I think Steam would see Sony as like the ultimate catch, because look at how many of those games are like perfect. Absolutely, positively perfect for what the PC gamer wants.
And clearly Sony has a plan where they don't kill their PlayStation console fan base by waiting to release those games several years after the console release. So they've already got that strategy in the bag. They never co-release a first-party studio game at the same time as the console release. So I do think Sony makes the most sense. I think some kind of delayed release campaign makes sense. I think giving that part of a Steam service, even if they made it $15 a month, like Microsoft directly competing with that, still would work, especially if you include some Sony games. And then
this is the one question though, right? What does Sony really gain from Steam on the reverse side though?
VR games, because they directly build VR games. And they can get the back catalog of Steam games right away. So the games like Portal and Half-Life that are already on Xbox would now also be on PlayStation.
True. And they would benefit from a much better library of games for.
They would get all the games from the Valve developers directly in their service. That would be their scratching each other's back.
Mm-hmm. It'd be interesting. I think that would be the most interesting partnership to see.
Yeah, I actually thought when Microsoft bought Activision, they were actually going to buy Valve, but that's a pipe dream. It ain't going to happen. I think it would be very difficult for a company to buy Valve and profit.
You would need to be a partner with Valve. I think it would be too much for the community. Too much backlash.
Although if somebody was going to do it, it would be Amazon. Imagine
because they don't care about public opinion. But at the same time, why wouldn't they just buy Epic Game Store?
Because why would they want Epic Games?
Fortnite, get the children.
Imagine like overnight, all the Steam branding changes to Prime.
Oh, heck.
Oh, jeez.
I can't.
Anyway,
all right.
I think like you said, we beat it on horse. So, is there anything else that's left on the table to say about this?
No, I think we covered it.
I think we did.
You can't compete with Steam because Steam is impregnable.
You have to change the game to compete with Steam for market share on the PC.
But even then, Steam has a way to maintain it completely and utterly. So Steam would have to make stupid decisions. It's Steam's to lose. It will always be Steam's to lose.
I agree with that 100%. They've got some fail-safe ready to go. They'll pull out the big guns if they have to.
I think the only threat vector to Steam is parents who don't game. Parents who don't game are not already gamers, right? Because then you'll get kids who are gaming through, let's say, Microsoft's Xbox, the Game Pass, right? And all they've ever, like, it's because their parents start them with it because it's the best, like, financial reasons. And then
are you saying that only? Are you trying to say that only kids with no money buy Xbox? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it's for financial reasons because it's a Game Pass for $15 a month instead of buying each game individually.
That's a fair point. Why wouldn't you just buy a Nintendo Switch though? Those parents are just going to buy the Switch because you pay $50 a year and you get all these portable consoles. They don't hog your TV. Like you're not going to buy an Xbox over a Switch.
Yeah, but the kids want Call of Duty and they cry.
They don't care.
And they pout and then the parents like.
No, they want Fortnite. Fortnite's on the Switch. Fortnite has destroyed all of Call of Duty.
Fine, they want Fortnite. They want to be cool with their friends, and it's
Fortnite and Minecraft. How could you beat the Switch?
Oh my god!
All right, that's all I got to say about that one. I think if anything, the partnership for Game Pass would be Nintendo.
No, there's no partnership for Game Pass.
I think there would be.
No.
We talked about this before. I think that some kind of cloud streaming to the Switch, since the Switch is less powerful. They already do it with Resident Evil in Japan.
They're not partnering with.
No, I'm saying if Nintendo was going to partner with somebody, it'd be Microsoft.
No.
I'm not saying they're going to, but imagine all the Halo games on the Switch.
I think you have a pipe dream happening right now.
All right, I'm done then.
You started doing like opium in the corner and no one saw it.
No, I did not.
Yep.
All right.
If you're claiming that Nintendo would want to partner with Microsoft,
let's send this one to the moon. All right, let's go. All right. If you guys have any questions, comment down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this whole topic.
Tell us how we were wrong. That's
how wrong we are.
That's a great.
Why Sony and Steam would never happen.
Let's get constructive feedback. Tell us how we're wrong, dumb, or ignorant. That would be the best.
And make sure you point out that Microsoft's going to buy the whole country of Japan so they can partner with Sega, Nintendo, and Sony.
I mean, if the yuan goes down in value significantly,
they ain't never. Japan's government would never allow the sale of Nintendo or Sony. It's not going to happen.
How bankrupt is Japan? That's the question.
No, I think they're doing pretty well right now.
No, the yuan is kind of crashing.
Is it? I don't know. I don't pay attention to stock markets as much as you do.
It's the currency that's crashing, not their stock market. So.
Okay. Fair enough. As always, I'm Chris.
And I'm Andrew.
And we'll see you
on the next CHRILLCAST.
Good. Yeah. I got to click the end button here. Oh, man. Wait.
The last comment. Yes, I'll support this person.
End the broadcast right there.